We've talked on this show a few times about El Salvador, of course, being the Bitcoin nation. And then they took this money from the International Monetary Fund, a credit facility of $1.4 billion. And one of the conditions of the credit facility was that they have to sort of lay off the Bitcoin rhetoric, stop buying Bitcoin, kind of separate themselves from Bitcoin. So yeah, the IMF loves to put on these kinds of restrictions. But over the last several months, President Bukele has been claiming that he's still buying. So in March, he tweeted, "No, it's not stopping. If it didn't stop when the world ostracized us and, quote, Bitcoiners abandoned us, it won't stop now and it won't stop in the future." That was what he said in March. Now, there was a report released just a few days ago from the IMF, it's sort of its compliance report, where they're checking if El Salvador is fulfilling its obligations to get that $1.4 billion line of credit to keep it going. And in a footnote in that report, it says, quote, "Increases in Bitcoin holdings in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Fund reflect the consolidation of Bitcoin across various government-owned wallets." In other words, they haven't been buying Bitcoin, they've just been moving it around. So I read this as basically the IMF saying that Bukele is lying when he claims to be buying more Bitcoin for El Salvador. Don't know if you have any thoughts on this one, David.
Yeah, I think it's quite funny either way, right? Like, so Bukele's trying to be like, yeah, see, I don't really care what the IMF says. You know, they're not going to do anything. And the IMF is like, well, it doesn't really matter. You can posture all you want. You're not breaking our rules anyway. So it's right. Like either way, it's humorous. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the IMF, but I think the funnier situation would be if they're right and Bukele is actually just kind of moving Bitcoin around to look cool.